Well, hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on Sunday, 25th of January 2015, about getting on toward 4 in the afternoon Eastern Time. You can actually see it's snowing now and starting to stick a bit on the leaves. The temperature's kind of dropped down enough, well, low enough for it to stick. We're around 31 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and but it's been snowing really since around 11 o'clock in the morning here, but it's only just now started to stick. I'm a space junkie. I spend a lot of time just watching the space station stuff. Well, it's starting to stick on the rug there on that little chair. That was one of Heidi's favorite spots to sit next to me there when I would sit in a chair next to that chair. She'd crawl up on that chair and then put her head on my lap. And then, of course, inevitably crawl into my lap. God bless Heidi. She was our English setter dog. But it's starting to stick now. Paul's doing some email work. Well, today was Sunday, and I went to church, of course. We had one service today at 9:30 rather than the 8 o'clock and 10:30 services, because today was our 197th annual parish meeting of St. Peter's Episcopal Church in Delaware, Ohio. And I read, and the woman who read with me, Deanna Douglas, is a splendid reader. I mean, I've read with her a couple times at funerals, and she's a wonderful reader. She and Henry Shaw are probably the two best readers in the church. And I told her that. I said, I'm delighted to be serving with you today, because I've always wanted, I've done it this is probably about the third time I've read with her, but, those were all like funerals and special services. This was like a standard service, and it was very nice. What I did not realize, though, is that she doesn't sing. See, she only goes to the 8 o'clock service, and she says to me, you'll have to sort of help me through this, because, I'm not used to being at a service where they sing. I thought, okay, that's fine. So she was getting robed up, and I went in, I took her the hymnal. I said, you're going to need this when we process in, because we sing when we go in. She says, I don't sing. I said, oh, okay. I said, I'll put it back. So I went and put it back. And indeed, she didn't sing. She didn't sing a note the entire service. Which, well, it's not really disconcerting, but, well, everybody worships God in their own way. That's fine by me. I love to sing. And sing we did, too. We had some good tunes. So, good. She read this excerpt from Jonah, and I read this excerpt from 1 Corinthians 7. And then the Psalm, there's an excerpt from Psalm 62. Well, we can't do the full thing, can we? But there was always this great thing. The gospel was the calling of Andrew and not Andrew, but the calling of John and James. From Mark, and I want to just be sure that I'm remembering this correctly, because, of course, the NRSV uses this very politically correct, gender-neutral language. Now, as he walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. So this is where he calls all the first four, unlike the account in John. And Jesus said unto them, Come ye after me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. But of course the NRSV says, it's just like, oh, let's ruin the beauty of that statement. Say, fishers of people. I've actually read other quote translations that say, finders of people. Let's emphasize that again. Come ye after me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. And straightway they forsook their nets and followed him. Straightway, immediately. No doubts there. Off they went. And then, of course, similarly, you've got, and when he had gone a little farther thence, you've got to love that, a little farther thence, he saw James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, who also were in the ship mending their nets, and straightway he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the ship with the hired servants and went after him. How many times do we have the balls to do anything straightway without a lot of toing and froing and hemming and hawing? Admittedly, sometimes if you do that, you end up making just god-awful decisions. But clearly in this case, that wasn't going to be the case. But no, we had to hear the very corrupted language of the NRSV, because we have to be politically correct. No, we can't speak honestly. We can't speak with beautiful language, that just stood the time of centuries. Oh well. I am but a simple country anesthesiologist who takes interest in linguistics and language. So the service went well, and I don't know where these people come from. When we processed in, there couldn't have been more than about 35 people in the church. But then when I turned, when I got up to the platform and looked, and it was like about 85. I mean, did these 50 people just suddenly materialize in, whoosh, down from above and fill the pews? They had to have come in from somewhere, and I didn't hear, you didn't hear, you'd think you'd hear that or notice it, but oh well. Anyway, they were there, and so afterwards we had, the meeting. Well, now, see, when you have a parish meeting, they always have a potluck lunch and this, that, and the other, and that's fine. But the trick is to have the meeting first and then eat. Meeting first and then eat. Meet first, then eat. Meet first, then eat. I know the rhyme would work just as well the other way. Eat first, then meet. But meet first, then eat. Because one, the people that really sort of need to get scampering off somewhere can go off after the meeting and still attend the meeting. And two, the people that don't want to be subjected to the food bullies, food bullies being people that come up to you and say, "Hey, why aren't you eating? Oh, here, have some of this. Food bullies. All my life I've been bullied by food bullies, and I don't take well to it. They seem to have figured that out about me now after 20 years. I've been going there 20 years now. So after 20 years, they figured out I don't like to be food bullied. Because nobody did that to me today. They did ask if I was standing in line, and I said, no, I'm off in the corner here reading the annual report, which I was. And when it became clear they were not going to have, as sort of postulated, the meeting at the same time people were eating while eating. No, that wasn't the case. Clearly it was going to be like eat then meet. I decided to check the weather, and the weather was deteriorating, and I thought, well, this could get bad very, very fast. Well, so it turned out it didn't, but I decided to cut my losses and get out of there, which I did. So Lord knows what went on in my absence. I suppose they put, see, the danger of leaving is they try to appoint you to committees, and you're without your knowing about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I also know how to, derail that little plot if that happened. I doubt that happened. That's more of a medical politic, university politic sort of situation rather than. Although I've seen it happen in church settings. And I'll close with a little pleasant story. It seems that around 2008, 2009, there was a family that sort of vanished, very suddenly, vanished from the church. Under, how should we say, clouded circumstances. There may have been some theft. There may have been some threats. Nobody really knew what was going on. Well, yes, a number of people did know what was going on, but nobody was saying anything. Well, that's just as well, I suppose. Still, inquiring minds do want to know. So it turns out that a fellow who had, was one of the parties that vanished, he shows back up. Well, I didn't realize it was him at first. I had to ask who he was. I thought it was who he was, but I had to have it confirmed for me. And clearly, if there's any nefariousness going on with this fellow, redemption has occurred in the last. Well, redemption's what it's all about, isn't it? Absolutely what it's all about. So it was good to see him back. He's clearly been at school somewhere, and when he last left us, his family was, we're talking about suck-ass, tit, hind tit poor. There's no shame in that. They were all working. Everybody was doing their best. But we're talking, this guy during the summertime would generally sleep out on the air conditioning unit outside the house trailer. I mean, that's because that's how crowded and cramped they were. I don't know what the heck he did in the wintertime. I guess slept on the floor in the trailer, I guess. No, these folks had a hard time. But given the way he was dressed and conducting himself, now somewhere along the line, somebody's taken him under their wing and transformed him. Well, good. God bless him. So that's the little narrative for today here, guys. So on that note, bye-bye, YouTubers. It seems the station has moved into darkness now, but there's enough of the sun catching the top of it that we get to see it shining very whitely here now. Gosh, I love space.